Hey guys, it's Coach Matt Lindland. We're going to talk about some defense in MMA against wrestling takedowns. So if Terrence were to shoot on me, I'm in my boxing stance. I'm ready to fight him here, and he shoots on me. The first thing I'm going to do is turn this body away. Keep that weight and kick on the head. Super simple. What we don't want to do is let him get a hold of our other leg. Now I'm beat. So right away when I feel him, I can be striking in the middle of a strike here, and I just turn that hip away from him, take that hip. If he switches to the single here, which is great, see the position he's trying to fix his body into? Do that again, T. Look, he's trying to bring his hips underneath him. I got to keep the weight on him. I got to keep the weight on. We can do that by putting a whizzer in. We can do that by keeping our chest and our pressure over that head. But right here, I'm going to be able to kick out. So watch how I do that in real speed. Boom. Here. Stay on that, kick out. Now you see how Terrence was still hanging on that leg a little bit? Might have been because I had a knee pad, but if he does, I'm going to come back and get it. Here, I'm going to come back and hang on this head, keep my chest over it. Here, I've got a lot of options. I go back and fight the hands, regular wrestling, single leg stuff, get the leg down, re-pummel in. One of my favorite techniques here is just to pass this head and go double wrist lock. From here, I've got a lot of options. I'll break this arm lock here easy. I can go turn this into my single leg. Head outside, high crotch kind of a technique. He's in on that shot again. See how I bend him over past that head. Okay, I can go right here to this foot. Okay, I can elevate him right here. Straight into my double wrist lock. If he goes to my back from here, because I'm giving up my back, but what you'll notice is I've got a lot of control on this arm. So I go here and he goes to take my back, that's fine, keep this arm, because you can go this way. Double wrist lock over the top here as well, same technique. And of course my bread and butter, my favorite, is the choke slam off of the same position. He shoots in, I try to turn my hip, I come back, he's carrying my weight. I'm keeping this knee in his hip so he can't bring his hips in, and I'm keeping weight on his chest and his head right here. Now he can't bring his hips in and his head up. I start baiting him by bringing this leg closer. He takes the bait, there's my choke slam. The wrist goes in just like this, and I grab the back of it here, pull and lift, pull, lift. Yeah. He didn't even take the bait, I can force it. Key here is catch this leg going over the back. Watch when I go, this leg's gonna go outside of his body, and this leg's gonna go on his hip. I'm gonna scoop my hip out. They call it a hip escape in jiu-jitsu. I'm gonna keep moving that hip till the choke's on. If I can't finish here, I'll go ahead and pass that arm, finish right here. If he decides to roll, let him go at his own speed. He starts to roll. Stay on top, head up, hips in. I can switch my arm and choke him there. You got lots of options here when a guy shoots on a single leg. Honestly, I'll even bait a guy sometimes because I like this close contact. You know, especially if I'm fighting a quick guy like Terrence and he's moving around and I'll throw something at him, boom, we'll start that whole series right there. It's a great place to start. Nice, easy kick, boom. His head's down. I can push and defend if I wanted to stay standing, or we can get ourselves into the grappling positions. Thank you. Hey, Coach Matt Lindland here. We're talking about some MMA drills, especially from the wrestling position. Clinch is a really focused area in the MMA. We see guys putting their opponents against the cage here, and they're using their underhooks, they're using their dirty boxing. But typically, when a wrestler or somebody goes for a single leg, they reach in here. Right here, see his hips go back? I'm gonna capitalize on this. I'm using this hand, but more importantly, I'm keeping weight on this shoulder right here. This is called whizzer. We're using this. I'm focused on this hip. As he tries to bring his head up and his hips hit, I stay over the top of it and I cover him right here. So as I cover him, I can hold him in here. I can change a lot of positions. I can go reverse this, but a lot of times what I do is when he goes to that single leg, from here, I keeping that weight on here, I pass this arm and I go right into my breadbasket choke. And I finish. I'm going to get the tap right here. So what you're gonna see is my hands are gonna go right here. See that grip? And my elbows are in. And what I'm gonna do is I'm bending his head. It's not a choke where I pull my arms here. I'm gonna release pressure. I want my arms to my hips, and I'm gonna use my belly on it. So watch, the finish, you didn't see this side because it was against the wall. But what I did is I took this whizzer and I switched it to here. And I grabbed the top of that hand and then I just lifted my hips right there and I'm getting the tap. The only defense for him to get out of that is for him to roll to his back. He'll release the choke, but he's gonna give me the top side position. So I'm here, he rolls to get out. I work here. We can work a lot of our different finishes and submissions from here. We got serious ground and pound, all kinds of techniques. One more time, we're just gonna show that kind of full speed. Corey's got me up against the wall, he's pinning me. He decides to go for the takedown. I keep this, past that, there's my choke. So we're kind of on this theme of finishing single legs, a lot of different options. When he's in on that single leg, we've already taken him to the mat here. He's on his hips. When I talked about how a wrestler would cover this and look for the takedown. But one of the details that I don't think that we show a lot is how I want to bend this guy in half. So my arms are going here and I'm really putting my hips in. What you'll see is a lot of guys will try to take their hips away. So they're in here and they're trying to get away. He's holding on that leg, I'm trying to get away. What I want to do is I want to pressure into him. And that opens this up. I'm lifting this elbow, not in his armpit where he's strong. I'm going to use some leverage and pull way out here, so I'm going to lift that shoulder up. I'm working, it's almost a submission there. As I'm doing this, I'm holding something on the back. Near ankle, far ankle, hips, whatever I can get my hands on, but I'm lifting this up and I'm going behind him. Once I'm behind him, I want to get my arms behind here to control his body. He might sit. I can work all my finishes here. My finishes. BJ Penn showed me a really beautiful one there. Maybe I'll detail that one out. But one of the things we like to do in this sport is just striking. So here, look at his position where his head's up higher than his hips. This is the opposite of what I want. So I want his hips higher than his head. So once I get behind him here, he's trying to bring this up. I'm just going to go regular deep waist chop. Put his head on the mat. Once I put the head in the mat, the thumb goes in the armpit. Thumb, not your wrist, because then my elbow doesn't put pressure on his head. My thumb, and watch when he tries to lift his head. Right here, I'm keeping this behind him, and I'm keeping this in here. From here, I'm getting strikes. I can drive elbows, I can punch. He's trying to scramble. Even if he tries to get up, I control this, and I keep striking. Now he might try to pull guard on me where he's going, but I end up side control if I know that the guard's coming. But every time he does a knee slide and tries to get his head higher, he's going to clear this off. Eventually, he's going to knee slide. I'll go right back to my chop and drive. I'm back here, I'm striking, he knee slides. I chop and I drive. I can sit and pull him back into my lap. We'll cover that next. All right, so another common defense to a takedown that I use, get a lot of techniques out of this. And it happens against the cage a lot. We can do it from there. He shoots a single and those hips go back. Maybe I don't get, you notice Corey's already fixing that hip position? So one adjustment, he's already fixing it. But I go down, I work that breadbasket choke here. But if he hangs on, I don't get the choke. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drag him all the way to the mat. Maybe I don't feel like I can change this arm. So I'm gonna pull him to the mat. I've got him on his hips here. Typical wrestling finishes, I'm gonna cover the head, I'm gonna go behind, work my chop downs. But what I'd rather do in MMA particularly, and there's nothing wrong with that because we can show a position from there where I use that a lot. But from here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass this arm over the top. I'm taking my whizzer away. This is uncomfortable for a lot of wrestlers. They love to hang on to that whizzer. But I'm gonna take this whizzer away and I'm gonna go to this wrist. One hand's up on the elbow, one hand's on his wrist. I'm just gonna pull this away from him. I'm gonna scoop this leg. Whatever arm I have is on top. So if Corey switches this grip, he reaches over this leg, I switch. He comes back, I see which leg I always want on top. He reaches, so it doesn't matter. I'm always switching to make sure the leg he's grabbing is the one that's on top. So it doesn't matter which way. Right here, I'm gonna keep this weight on him, stretch him out, work my ground and pound. He might start to try to roll me. I can hip in, keep him here. But if he catches me in the roll, no big deal. I hold this. I hold this. I've seen Goodrich catch Paul Herrera in this. I'm switching this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna choke. Different kind of choke. I'm gonna bend his neck here. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna capture this and this. What I'm not doing is pulling, trying to choke. I'm just gonna capture this and I'm gonna lean forward on that head. Right there, I'm getting the tap. So I'm gonna show you a detail. Sit down, Corey. What this choke, face the camera. What this choke is doing is instead of going here and like pulling and trying to strangle him, I'm catching this collarbone and I'm catching here. So I've got this even. Now I'm gonna use my shoulder, my head, my hands, anything I can do. And so since my hands are already tied up in that position where he's on that leg, here and he rolls me, I'm just gonna go right to this, use that pressure, and I'm bending the head. That's the same choke we did in the breadbasket choke where we bend his head. We didn't pull and try to strangle. A couple different kinds of choke. One is where I'm taking carotids out right here. You know, you see a lot of these in the rear naked styles. These I refer to more as soup chokes because you'll be drinking soup for a week. All right, nice finish there. We'll talk a little bit more about this position in another clip. Hey, Coach Matt, we're still working on single leg takedowns. We came off the wall here just to show this techniques, but Corey was in on a single and we covered some pretty nice defenses here, going around the corner, clearing this, going this way and attacking. Now, if I sit him into my lap, I go behind this man here and I'm doing my ground and pound with the keeping his hips higher than his head, but he just tries to sit here. He sits. I'm gonna go right away behind the arms. Let's spin towards the camera. I'm gonna stay behind the arms. Now, what everybody likes to do is they like to go here and start to choke. What's he gonna do to this arm? He's gonna start fighting it, put it on the side of his head. I mean, there's all kinds of options. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show him the choke. If he gives it to me, great. I put the choke in there, fine, I'm gonna finish the choke. But I know he's gonna go to my hands. So right here, as he goes to my hands, I 2-on-1 one of his hands. I release this leg and I capture. Now, I can control this arm and work my chokes. And one more time, I'm in here, I'm behind the arms, I go to the choke. He goes to my hands, I immediately 2-on-1 and straighten that out. I capture this with my leg. Now he's only got one hand to fight me. I go to my rear naked choke. I'm looking to attack carotids this time. I'm gonna slide this through. Regular carotid choke, elbow down, head. Or he's defending this one. He's a tough guy, he's not choking. I'm gonna go back to that choke that we talked about where I lift the head up, I'm catching this, and I put pressure way up high on the head. Not down here, it doesn't have enough leverage. I'm just gonna push here, but my arm, I'm not flexing. I learned a long time ago from Dean Lister, if you're doing this when you're choking a guy, the technique's not right. So even on my blood choke here, I'm still having a nice conversation. I'm not going like this, having a decent conversation. I switch to the soup choke, I go here, and now I can get a lot more leverage. If I capture this, can you see that behind right here? So maybe I catch it here, but he's still hanging in there. I lock this, now it's on. See the grip? Right here. I work this choke with the leverage. This is a choke you guys will get to use in a lot of different situations. But I'm not getting this, I just lock this hand behind. Now I can get a little more pressure with the pull. But he can't. If I reach up here, he's gonna fight that hand. Okay? He might take this one too. He might grab, yeah, so he pulls it down, but I hide it behind him. Watch, can you grab that hand? And by that time it's too late and the finish is imminent. Coach Matt Lindland, we're back here. We were just talking about on an earlier clip when a guy shoots in on a single leg to finish, how we capitalize against this. Conversely, on the other side, when I've got a guy pinned up against the cage here and I'm throwing some knees, I'm punching, and I go to this single leg, what I want to do is I want to quarter turn around him. I want to get my hip behind his hip. But see how my hips are in? I didn't drop down for a single leg like this. Corey blocks the hip, uses the whizzer. My head's too low. He's going to finish that choke we talked about. So what I want to do is I want to cut him off here, keeping my head. I call this listen to the heartbeat. Look how high my head is. It's not going down here. My hips go away. So real important is that my head stays in, my hips stay tough. The biggest thing I'll see a lot of wrestlers do is they'll grab here like this, or they'll try to hug the leg. I want to keep my arms long like I'm doing a kettlebell swing. Here. So when I switch quarter turn, kettlebell swing, bring this guy up off the mat, and I keep him pinned against the cage. This way his only exit is through me, right here. One more time, we're going to show that. But notice how I step in, I swing, and I drop him along the cage. He's pinned up against the wall. I want to finish the takedown. Quarter turn, head up, listen to the heartbeat. Step, bring him down. There's the finish. That's how you do that technique properly. So we cover this really nice high single finish. I'm gonna go just review that one more time. We have the guy clinched up against the wall. I'm pummeling for my double unders. I'm stepping around, I'm quarter turning. His hands are coming down long, no bend. I'm quarter turned around him, and I'm swinging the kettlebell with my hips, and I'm finishing that. Now, as I do this, if Corey gets his hips away, what I don't want to do is chase him to where I'm in that bent position. So what'll happen is we'll shoot in, we'll do this beautiful technique, and then we'll stay on there back to the chokes that I just showed you guys. Not what I want to do. I want to keep my head up high, right underneath his chin. So I shoot in here, he takes those hips away. I control him. Right here, I've got inside trip. Okay, he feels that one, that's fine. He steps out of that. I go trip, he steps out of that. I go trip. So all I'm doing is I'm elevating those legs and I'm rotating around them. What I don't want to do again, here and he starts moving away, is bend. So I want to stay high. I'm high, he bends, I'm high. Okay, he counters that one. I go to the second attack. I go here, up, here. Notice, I don't go with him to the mat. And then scramble ensues. I stay high. As he starts to come up, I pin him. I punch. He starts to come up again. I stop punching, I pin him. I keep improving my position. So all we're doing, I'm gonna do it out here away from the wall, you see, was I'm staying on my feet, I'm hooking, and I'm pulling. Still staying on my feet, pressuring this guy. He steps over this, I rotate, I step over here, pinning, punching, passing, improving my position. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in this month.
Okay, here we're going to talk about correlation with technique from wrestling and how it is introduced and works in MMA. They're very similar, and instead of a standard stuff the head, sprawl, square up like we've done in past videos, we're going to give you a few examples this time on some things to help you when he's basically your beat. It's like last ditch. I'm not going to say desperation because they are high percentage, but when he's basically beat you in the position and you've lost the position to just do a standard sprawl, and then so you have to attack different ways. And what we're going to do first is we're going to work. First, I'll show you. Here's the double leg. Watch Josh here first. We'll hit the double leg. He'll just take him down. Bam! He just double leg right through. And when he's attacking on his double leg, he's just going to go side step left, deep step right. Watch him again here. Side step left, deep step right with deep penetration, right? Watch Brady. He'll do the same thing, just like that. And that same double leg is going to be the same footwork generally in wrestling as it is in MMA. So, in wrestling, first of all, if Brady shoots a double leg on Josh and he's got the angle, so we're in trouble. His hips are in, his head is up, he's cutting the corner. Josh is delayed in his defense. First thing he'll do is he can always lock around the body because it's so easy, and he'll use the momentum of Brady, and he'll roll him all the way through, and when he comes out on top, he'll be in a front headlock, which is the definite position in wrestling of dominance as well as MMA. Watch him again. He basically beats you, so you go to a body lock, and he rolls him through. Again, using his momentum. Watch Brady do that. Josh is in on the double leg. Brady is beat, so he locks around the body, uses the momentum of Josh, and slips out to his front headlock. Watch that again. This is the body lock. Boom. He rotates through, comes all the way out on top again to a front headlock. That's one way. A second way to defend after you've already basically been beating the position is what we call a crotch lift. So watch Brady. He shoots his double. Josh now drops in and locks left hand on top in the crotch. As Brady continues to drive through, Josh will dig his heels and again comes out on top, rolling him through, finishing out in front to a front headlock. Watch that again. Bang, and flips him right through. Very good. Watch Brady. And again, these positions are basically in real bad positions. The guy is in so deep. His head is up. Brady locks in the crotch, rolls him through, slips out to his front headlock. Watch Brady do it again, nice and slow. So, you're basically beat. Even though you have pulled your hips back, you'll have to step around, lock in the crotch, and flip them on through. Right? Now, same with wrestling. Or, excuse me, the last one with funk. Don't let me get ahead of myself. Last one will be funk. So, Brady's in on the attack, the leg attack. And now what Josh will do, as you can see here, Josh is going to throw his left hand in the crotch, committing all the way to a hands lock, rolls him all the way through, all the way to his base, and pops out the back door. And when he rolls through into what we call a funk, he'll lock with his left hand, he'll roll all the way across his back to both elbows so he can pop up. Watch that again. Comes with the leg attack. Josh reaches inside with the left hand, stays in a tight ball, make sure he keeps height and pops out the back door. Again, real slow. You get a good angle here. Left hand, rips it all the way across till he gets to his belly. Knees come up, in a ball, pops out. Watch one at a medium pace here. And he's right through. That was a real good example. Watch Brady. A little slower one here. Josh is in on the attack. Brady's left hand goes deep. Reaches and locks his hands, pops out the back door. Watch him one more time. A little faster. Nice. Now, with MMA, same effect here. Josh knows how to strike. So we're going to put Josh as the striking MMA guy. So what Josh will do is he'll go, jab, jab, cross, and he's going to get in on the attack, and you'll watch how this works now. Now first, watch the body lock. So here you go. Just go jab, jab, cross, double, and there's the body lock. Just like wrestling, same in MMA. Watch that again. Josh comes in, sets up his strikes, so he can get into a leg attack, and Billard body locks him through. Same things. This time he's going to crotch lock. Here comes Josh setting up his takedown with his strikes. He's in, but Billard would be defeated easily, but he's able to get his hands locked. What Billard really would want to do is to try to stuff and square. Watch that one time. Uses his strikes, bing, 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 and he wants to stuff and square. In wrestling and in MMA, no doubt. However, the striking forces Billard's hands up because he protects his face, of course, which gives Josh transition into a takedown. But these takedowns are watching, but this time he's going to step and lock in the crotch. Jab, jab, cross. Billard steps left foot so he can lock, and flips him right through. Last thing. Same with the funk. Jab, jab, cross. Just like in wrestling, he'll set up his takedown, except here for the punches, and he takes him right on through. Watch him again. He'll commit harder to this one. It's hard to kind of do it slow sometimes. Bing, 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 keeps in, Biller long, long arms, reaches right in there and pops out the back door. So there you have it. There's 3 examples that are used in wrestling, that are also used in MMA to help you when you've basically gotten beaten.
Hey guys, we're still working on the takedowns from this clinch. I mean, there's so many different ways to go with this, but we're gonna stick with this one series a little longer, the little trips, because I like them because they're really low risk. On these trips, if I set this guy up and I miss it, I'm adding a knee. You know, I step out here, I miss this one, I go to that second sweep here, he steps out, he takes his hips away, I go to my snap downs. So from in here, we really got to incorporate the dirty boxing, the elbows, back to the pommel, pull, there's my sweep, okay? A lot of times, remember, I'm trying to catch that guy's foot as he's putting it on the mat. I'm handing it to myself. He's falling right down. But sometimes he doesn't fall. You guys have seen single leg takedowns where I go here, he doesn't fall, I just run through him. That time I got him all the way down. Because he's on one foot, he's going backwards. Even though I didn't pick it right away, like the earlier ones when I just picked it, when I circled him and I picked it, he goes down. This one, sometimes me running through him will knock him down, but even if I don't, if I'm just holding a nice high single leg, there's a lot of things I can do from there. I come here, I run through him. I still got Vlad's leg up. I can attack here. I can attack here. I can throw it down. Okay, or I can finish the single leg. And the way I like to finish this high single leg is I just call it treetop. I come here and I get outside of his strikes. So watch this, as I catch this one here, I'm gonna go off the pick. I go here, I run through him. I run through him, okay? Now I'm just gonna pass it because I wanna get outside of his punches. I'm here and I just keep elevating, I'm also outside of his guard. We're back into that position I was in. When we do that first technique and he steps out, I showed you that inside out trip there. We can go back to number 1 too. So we go, first one here, he steps out, I cheat, I hook here, up. Right here, I might even knee block him. Because his hips were out a little bit farther. So it's a little bit of a feel there. If his hips were in on me, I'd probably go back to 1. 1, 2, 1. Staying on my feet. And let's go ahead and throw that knee block in since I felt it and we did it, right? So come here, Vlad. So I go pick, trip, step outside. Nice control top position right here. I love that position. So lots of things we can do. We're gonna cover some more takedowns here in the next film. Then we're gonna work on some ground fighting, some posture punch, pass, pin, pressure drills. Thanks, guys.
With this video, we're going to talk about what to do when you're trying to defend a high single. High single, when he's attacked your legs, he's got one up in the air, okay? Now, just like wrestling and in MMA, you definitely want to defend the takedown. A lot of people, I mean, I hear it all the time when I was training MMA, like if Biller here has Josh's leg up in the air, and they say, well, you can just punch him in the face. You know what I mean? So if Josh starts to just, like he's going to be punching, you know, then obviously he's not defending, and then Biller will be able to take him down very easily. So, very easily. If you're worried about punching him, then he's going to be able to take you down. So you want to defend the takedown, no doubt about it. And the way we're going to do today, obviously, I'll show you the first basic thing. If Biller has Josh's leg, and Biller is not in good position, then Josh first and foremost will stuff the head and square up and bring Biller all the way down. Obviously. You know, and finishing is a whole different video, but you will tell if Biller has a single, and his head is down in your crotch area, and his back is straight, then he's in terrible position, and again, Josh will just stuff and square and bring him on down to the mat. Don't even need to worry about it. However, if Biller is in good position. Good position would be elbow deep at the knee. He's got correct grip. You can see Biller's head is up in Josh's armpit. His back is more straight, so he has a lot more control. He's pinching with his lower half. He's in very good position. What we're going to do here is what we call a funk, high single defense. First thing Josh is going to do is he's going to create himself some space. Watch how he pushes off the shoulders of Biller and extends his leg, giving him room to work. He will then rotate his foot to the outside of the hip so it doesn't get all intertwined and messed up. Now, because we're showing the demonstration, what Josh will now do is pull out his whizzer and put both hands down the mat, just like that. Coaches, this is how you teach them. Okay? And then what Josh is going to do is when he hops back into the attack, his left hand will go inside and his left ear went outside. And when he did, he locks his hands and rolls across. Watch him. There's a lot going on right there. Watch him again here. Real slow. Stop on your back for me. 3. Yep. There. You can see the left ear is on the outside. The left hand is on the inside. Now, when he rolls through, he'll roll outside all the way to his knees, brings his head up so he has height, and then whizzers and takes the man's back. Watch Josh do that, or Biller do that. He has Biller's leg up. He pushes away and extends and rotates his foot to the outside. Both hands down. Left hand comes in, left ear goes out. He rolls all the way across and gets height and takes the man's back. One more time. And then we'll speed it up a little bit. Push, extend, and go. Good. Now, Biller did a real good job. Watch Josh on this one here. What he did that time, when they started to get a little better, the hand plant, if it does happen, it will happen fast. But they're going to use it to pull the guy into him. Watch how, without going, go ahead, Josh, without going, when he comes down, see, look how we can pull him in. Again, right, back over here now. So he wants to pull Biller in. And right here, Biller's thinking he's bailing, so he's driving in. When he gets him moving in, he knows when to go. He can feel him coming in, and he rotates all the way through, swishes his feet out, and gets height. Watch it fast. Or about 70, go about 75%. Oh, right. You can see the pull in. He pulls him in on that. Watch him again. That was great. Exactly. Very good. Now, the situation is Josh is going to be the MMA striker. Okay? He's going to jab, jab, cross, and then he's going to, which leg was it here? You're doing that? And then we'll just say he's going to do what we call a snag single, where he doesn't touch his knees. And then Biller will go into the defense. Watch how this works. Pushes him away, pulls him in. Nice. Drags him forward. That was great. Great demonstration there. Watch it again. You can see him extend out, rotate his foot, bail, and right through he goes. High single defense is called the funk. In this video, we're going to work on a leg defense that is known in wrestling as a scoot. It's called a scoot. Basically, it's when the guy attacks your legs, when his head is outside, his shoulder has to be in your crotch to really double you off and finish. And we use his momentum and take advantage of it in what we call a scoot. Now, again, we use it in wrestling all the time, just as useful in MMA. So real basic, real slow. Biller will shoot a single with his head outside. When he does, what Josh does is he rotates his heel up, his right heel. As he steps around his left foot, he locked in his crotch. The left arm is forward. Now, Biller's shoulder is in the crotch, right shoulder. So as Josh pulls him forward, he will dig the left heel and he pops his shoulder out. Now, here he is. Shoulders popped out, Biller's in bad position. What Josh will do is he will step over the leg, plant his right hand, and then just raise up to the knee, taking the man's back. Watch that again. rotates as he steps, and then scoot, scoot, scoot. Post the hand, and the knee comes up, just like that. Face another way if you can. Face another way. So, right here, you can see that when Biller comes in, what Josh does is he steps his left foot to rotate his heel up. He steps his left foot to rotate his heel. He locked his hands before he hit the mat, and then, of course, Biller still has his leg. So to finish him off, he'll kind of dig that heel as he pulls, he scoots on his butt. Do that, keep going, keep spinning, he's scooting, scooting, scooting. You can see the shoulders popped out. Now, Josh is not going to be able to pull the leg out. So instead, he just rotates up to the knee, and he really has a leg in if he wanted it, but he also has the man's back. Very good. Now, again, you're using the guy's momentum. So as soon as Biller takes the shot this time, you'll see Josh will step around the left foot, and it will look all like it's one. Watch this. Boom, just like that. You're using the guy's momentum. Again. Boom, scoot, 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 just like that. Good. Now, sometimes momentum is so much, so great really, that you don't want to get stuck on your butt scooting, and you'd rather just finish up the scramble without being stuck on your butt. So, what Biller will do when Josh shoots the single this time, is that when he steps around on the left foot, watch this, when Josh comes in on his high crotch there, as Biller steps around with his left foot and locks, he's going to roll him all the way through to his right shoulder, and he'll hook the foot upside down in midair. Watch this. He's in, he rotates all the way through, and takes the man's back. Just like that. Again, instead of going to the butt into a slower scoot, he'll go all the way through, step, lock, and then you can see he hooks the foot. Very good. Watch Josh do that. Biller comes, the high crotch, single, rolls him right through and hooks his foot. Very good. One more time. Biller, you're up here. So, head outside single, lock, step and lock, rotate all the way over your right shoulder and hook the foot. Now, equivalent to MMA, that's a wrestling drill. Watch Joshua be the MMA striker. He's going to go jab, jab, cross, and he's going to hit into his single attack. And first, Biller will scoot by going to his butt, like we did first. There he comes. He's in, and you scoot. Using that momentum to pop that shoulder out. Now, Josh is the MMA striker. Jab, jab, cross. This time he rolls him through. Step, lock, rolls him through, and hooks his foot. We're going to do one more of those. That's a good demo. Josh is going to set him up with the hands, then attack with his head outside to a single, and that is a scoot finish. Today we're going to talk about upper body situations relevant to MMA that are obviously very common used in wrestling. Core strikes get you into a lot of upper body situations. We've covered some things on that on other videos. Specifically, when we get into an over and under, where I have an underhook and he has an underhook, and we're both over and under. That happens a lot. Bang, 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 you're right in, you're in these clinch situations. And what we showed before, if their hips are back, obviously they're open for knees. So when their hips are in, to stop the knees from coming, we would go to a knee pick. As we punch our right hand, our left hand, and our head drive, and we would either continue to take him down there, or he would have to pull his hips back out to defend, and then boom, we come back into it. And we've done that a lot in past videos. To add on to that, when we want to score in these over and under situations, the first thing we're going to do is what we call a side pull. So you say, what do you do? If you can't be stand up, and you can't be back because of the knees and the takedowns, so what you want to do is initiate. So when you get in these clinch situations, I'll sidestep my left foot, and I'll pull with my right hand on Josh's lap. And when I'm doing that, I pull him off of his base. You sidestep left, and you pull him off of his base. Getting him moving will free up the angles that we need to attack. Sidestep left, deep step right. That's what we're doing. So, first thing we're going to do is a a lat drop, okay? So as I sidestep left and pull, I'm pulling Josh's head down like that. And what that makes him want to do is pull his head up. So as I sidestep left and pull, and when Josh brings his head up, I will drop both feet in into a deep arch, and I'll throw my lat drop. So over and under, side pull. So as I side pull, I can hop in and arch in my lat drop. And I'm going over my left shoulder. But again, I don't want to just try to go, because he would body lock me and do all types of knee picks and things like that. I got to set him up by moving him. So when I get into clinch, right away I want to initiate the side pull. Throw in some knee picks, maybe a knee, but coming back to the side pull. When I go to knee pick, I'll be able to throw in my hip and land on my lat drop. Now, also, we'll stand right here. We can do an inside trip for men here. So if Josh and I were facing the camera, when you want an inside trip, you got to do what we call a crow hop. My right will hop to my left as I drop to my left knee. Notice how Josh will do it here. Crow hops in, and his head will shift over to the left. Crow hops in, and he shifts over to the left. One more time. Crow hops in, and by crow hopping, he replaces the left with the right to get in as deep as he can. So, if I want to inside trip Josh, I'm going to side pull him, but now instead of sidestep left and pull to the right, okay, I'm going to sidestep right and pull to the left, because I want him to step this leg. I sidestep right and pull to the left. When I do it, I drop low. My right foot will come in. As I crow hop, my head comes, and I scored my inside trip. So again, over and under, instead of side pull this way, you're going to pull him into your attack. So you sidestep right and pull. Again, I lower my level, and I can't just go here. A lot of people just try to go here, but you're extended. But by crow hopping in, I'm very tight. One more time. So you can mix all these things up. You're throwing that knee pick and that knee. You're getting that side pull in there. You come back the other way, and you crow hop in, and our head is so important. Coaches, a lot of times, the athletes, when they go to trip, they don't put an emphasis on the head going to the hip. So when they go to trip, their head is up, and then this can create all kinds of danger there. So your head wants to be just as aggressive as your left knee. So as I pull them around, I'm going to my side trip. Now, watch Josh do that. Over and under, he'll pull me in, and he's in, just like that. Now, notice when Josh does it this time, MMA oriented, I'll try to get to side mount. So he pulls, when he nails me, he tries to, side out. Are you going that way? Yeah, right. Watch him again. Again. One more time. We'll have this one full speed. Now, of course, like I said, you want to try to put as many things together as you can. These things all work together. Another one would be, as I side pull, I go to inside trip, but when Josh pulls out, that takes his hips away, and then I would lat drop him. So, I go to pull Josh, I go to inside trip, but he stepped out. Now I can step in and hit my lat drop. So they work together, and that's what I want. I want them moving. I don't want it to stay. A pull, knee pick, side, knee, pull, knee pick, here I come, go to get my inside trip, and finish with the lat drop. One more little thing in here. You'll see When you're in here, there's also a reverse headlock. And a lot of times you'll kind of do this when you don't want to be in a situation. So if I'm in an over and under with Josh, of course his hand's in an underhook. So what I would have to do is rotate my left foot in, throw my left hip in, and finish my headlock. And it's called a reverse headlock. But it's here a lot. What you do is you can't throw this hand, but you're free here. As you punch through, your hip comes in, you can headlock it. Now again, a lot of that comes from movement. I don't want to just keep them still. So you're pulling and knee picking, knees and pulling and knee picking, knees faking inside trips, okay? And again, going to knee pick, he pulls his hips out, I can pivot and score. With those few things up there, pretty high percentage, good way to score from that clinch. Okay, on this video, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to defend from an upper body situation. Preferably is what we call an over and under, and a lateral drop is very, it's all over the place in wrestling, of course. It's all over the place in judo, and of course it's all over the place in MMA. So anybody that gets up top, and they want to throw you, what we're going to do is show you how to stop it. So first of all, a lat drop. In the simplest form, watch Josh here. They're going to be in an over and under. That means Biller has a right hand underhook right here. Josh has a right hand underhook right there. And they're both over and under. Now, if Josh was going to throw Biller, Josh would try to push into Biller a little bit to get him pushing back. And then when he feels Biller pushing, he hops in both feet, commits to an arch, and he throws him. Head going back, loaded up with his hips. He's got him pushing in, and he extends with his upper body. Watch him again. Over and under, pushes into Biller, gets him pushing back, and he lat drops him. Now, same thing in MMA, same thing in wrestling. However, watch what Josh does this time. When he gets his over and under, because in MMA their hips are kind of in to avoid knees more than anything else. Josh will first attempt a knee pick, and then when Biller pulls his hips back, Josh will then throw in both feet, and he will lat drop Biller. Watch Biller do it to Josh. They're in an over and under. He goes knee pick, Josh defends by pulling back, and then Biller throws his feet in, and he lat drops Josh. Watch it fast. Boom, very good. Very good setup there. MMA, they start with their hips in. Wrestling, their hips are out, because they're not afraid of knees. However, the setups and the throws are the same. So, what we want to do is defend. So when you're in this upper body situation, you do what we call a Metzger. You'll see what Josh has to do. He has to be very careful about pushing in, first of all, up here. You don't need to really be pushing in. However, if Biller sets him up like in MMA with a knee pick, that makes him throw his feet back and indeed push in. So it's a very good setup. But what Josh has to do, Josh has to drop his right shoulder below Biller's shoulder. His right shoulder over here will drop below Biller's shoulder. And then his left hand will dangle down between Biller's legs. As Biller, real slow, hops in to throw him, the left hand caught right in the middle of the butt, which he hooked onto there, allowing him to throw his feet all the way out to Biller's head. Now, and notice how he lands wide, because if Josh lands on his right hip here, Biller will still muscle him through. Right. Again, you're in an over and under. Josh drops his right shoulder below Biller's and then punches his left arm down low. He feels when Biller throws his feet in, so his left hand catches in the butt, and look how he threw his feet all the way up there past Biller's head, catching him in the Metzger. Watch it a little faster. Biller's going to push in, trying to get Josh, and then he'll go and boom, all day long. Now in wrestling right here, of course, Biller would be caught on his back, and there are back points, and it's very good. However, MMA, you're in side mount, which is just fantastic. So, Either or. You got to do a Metzger. You got to drop that right shoulder, get that left hand, and look how he lands on his feet when you throw him up to the head. Just like that. Watch him again. Biller's really going to try to get him pushing this time. Josh is getting comfortable in here, and that left hand is deep. He's in great position. Fantastic. Watch Biller. Couple times here. Josh will push in, try to throw him. And then that left hand. Oh, you can see Biller, that time, his left hand caught up a little high, and he didn't get quite all the way around. When he does it this time, he's going to land right in the middle. Right on his crack. That's where he's going to land. See the difference? Right. Right. So, watch Josh for the last one. Biller's going to try to get him pushing. And Metzger. Metzger. In past videos, we've worked in upper body and defense and all types of things. What we're going to talk about right now with this video is what to do after you've been taken down. After there's been a leg attack takedown, and they've attacked you below the waist, and they've taken you all the way down to your hip. Now, in wrestling, of course, giving up the back, you know, you have to get behind them to get 2 points. However, in MMA, there's no way you ever want to give up your back for any reason whatsoever. So, for example, if if Biller takes down Josh with a double leg, takes him all the way down to his hip, and they're right here. Now, if Josh puts both hands in the front and tries to build his base in such a way that, of course, he's going to give up his back. And that's going to be Biller. That's right, of course, that's going to be right up Biller's wheelhouse. Watch that again. This would be wrong. This would be wrong. 2 hands come over and you give up your back trying to rebound after the takedown. Giving up the back. Watch Josh do that. He takes down Biller. Biller swings both hands and gives up his back trying to base up and escape. Now there's not going to be any escape. So, instead, what you're going to do, when Biller shoots on Josh and he doubles him, he's taking you down. Go ahead. He skies you and he's taking you down to your hip. Now, Josh right away with his right hand is going to post behind Josh or on Biller's neck and on his head. And he immediately works to straighten out his arm, lock it out, if you will. Because if it's bent, then Biller would be able to drive through. But yes, just like that. But if it's straight, really, the more that Biller works, the more he's working against himself, and then Josh can square up and swing his hips to the front. Watch that again. Post, straight arm post, they're working, and he comes right out without giving up his back. And I can't tell you how much this straight arm, if you're below the waist and you're posted off, and you're trying to drive through that post, how it drains you of energy. I mean, it just absolutely drains you. You're working really against yourself. Watch that again. Post, hips, height, and he squares up. Notice Josh is not on his elbow, he's on his hand. One more time, watch Biller do it. Nice and slow. Immediately freeze. If Biller drops to an elbow down here, his head will be below Josh's head, and it's not the advantage that we want. He wants to keep height, so he posts, and then he squares up. Very good. Also, same thing in MMA. And further, on the cage in MMA. For example, we'll say this wall over here is the cage. Biller takes down Josh against the cage. Drives him into it, takes him down. Josh again will plant a straight arm with the right hand and fights and pushes his way and squares up. Very good. And watch Josh take down Biller on the cage. Drive him up against that cage and slam him on it. Bang, up, boom, and it takes him down on the cage. Straight arm, post, and he escapes. One more time, just like that. Watch Josh set him up with strikes and then take him down against the cage. Boom, he takes him down using the cage. Biller has to post and square and get his hips away. So after a takedown, obviously you don't want to give up your back. So instead of bailing to try to base, you face the man, post him off, keep the height, and square your hips up.